All right, everybody. We're back with episode 15 of The Fuck's Your Why. And I'm here with my buddy Josh. I haven't known him very long, but we work together. I see him in the hallways. Sometimes he sees me peeing or something. I don't know.
I mean, it's like hit or miss with you.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I'm fucking...
Sometimes you're watching me, sometimes I'm watching you.
Yeah, it's whatever. But before we get started, I want to say cheers. We got a couple Yinglings. Just doing podcasts and just fucking hanging out. So, cheers.
Cheers, guys. And I must say, it's a beautiful day out here. I don't know where you guys are at, but here in Arizona, can't beat the weather today. So.
I think it's like, what'd you say, 82 degrees?
Yeah, 82, 83, yeah.
For all those guys in the Midwest, fuck.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That's going to be me soon.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say, he's going to be moving over there too. So,
yeah, so it is whatever. What it is.
But
I'm going to take it when I can.
Like I said, I've known him probably for, I don't know, we probably started talking about 6-7 months ago.
Yeah, give or take, yeah.
And we've just been bullshitting throughout the hallways and kind of telling each other stories. And he doesn't work that far away from me in the office, but the company that we work for is really good, but you don't see the camaraderie anywhere near there. So
when we see each other in the hallways, it's like we're catching up with old buddies.
Exactly.
We're like just going throughout our day, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, yo, what's up? We start bullshitting, because that's not what you get with your normal Joe there that works in the company. So there's a couple of us that are veterans there, but it's not, we all joke and we kind of just all go on about our day. It's not, close-knit thing, but give me a little intro about yourself, a little intro and a little background. All right, so obviously my name is Josh. I did 15 years in the Air Force. I was a jet engine mechanic by trade. I'm originally from Los Angeles, California, and I've
Dodgers fan.
Yeah, Dodgers fan. Go Dodgers. And I've been all over the world, so I can't really complain about my time in. I had a great time. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of shit that's bad as well with the good, but for the most part, I can say I have no main complaints, I mean, I could complain, but who gives a shit, right?
Yeah, nobody's gonna fucking give a shit.
No one's gonna give a shit.
Then everybody's just gonna look at you like, oh, there's this fucking crybaby.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, that's a little background story. I've worked every section in the aircraft engine side that you can work. So, with the exception of maybe test cell, I didn't really work test cell, but I've been QA, I've been small gas, I've been support section, I've been flight line, which was a majority of my time. I've been back shop, so I've had a variety of different avenues and things I've seen and leadership and just the whole nine. So, but yeah, it's a little bit about my background and what I did in my time in. So, started in South Carolina, ended up going from there to Germany. From Germany, I went to Georgia. From Georgia, I ended up here at DM Tucson, and then I finished out my time here. So. And I stayed.
For you guys that don't know aircraft maintenance, test cell is pretty sweet because you get the engines just in a hollow hush house. It's a big old concrete silo, and you're running engines, especially fighter engines.
Fighter, you get that afterburner and shit.
Yeah, you see that afterburner or the it's not afterburner. What's the other?
Augs, yeah, the augs.
So augmenters, and you see the flames coming out, and that's the beauty of being in test cell, and that's a fucking amazing thing. I mean, I got pictures.
People love that gig too.
Yeah.
Very
and nobody fucking fucks with you because you're out in the middle of nowhere, and it's quiet, and you have to let people have to ask to come in, so it's a controlled area. So
I will say with that caveat, I worked the fighter. A-10's a fighter, but I didn't work anything that's legit
cool
augmented fighter. So I started on heavy. C-17s was my baby. I worked C-5s as well, my second baby. So I worked flight line for both of those. And then when I got to Georgia, that's when I ended up in the back shop for a while. And then I worked flight line for A-10s as well, there and here. And I've been deployed with all three aircraft. So, but yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty badass.
Can't complain.
But now getting into the business, getting into the why,
the meats and potatoes while we're here.
Yeah. So what the fuck was your why? Why did you join? I mean, like you've seen all my other ones,
right? And
you hear the stories. Everybody has their own little different.
Yep. Why?
Quirk.
So my why, to be honest, was at the time, I was a young man, 20, and I had a kid on the way. And I was working a dead-end job at Radio Shack. Sort of tells my age there. So I knew that a dead-end job at Radio Shack was not going to support and give my daughter, the advances in life that I wanted to give her.
Yeah.
As well as for myself, I wasn't going to get anywhere. So it was a decision that I had always wanted to join. You know, my dad had been in the military and Air Force. He used to fly privately as well. I had brothers that had been in the Air Force and Army. So it was something that's in the bloodline, you know, like I have a strong sense of family and a strong sense of country and service. And that's what I always wanted to do. But you know how it is. Mom's like, no, mijo, don't go. So at 18, you know, I went, and back in the day, you had to go to the post office and, you know, sign up. And if there was a draft, you could be drafted and all that jazz. So I did that at 18, and I told my mom, hey, I'm going to go, and I'm going to go join the military. And she's like, no, mijo, go to college. And so I tried the college thing. It just wasn't my thing. You know, I tried it. It wasn't for me. And at that point in time, like I said, I had a kid on the way, and that was my why. Was her. So that's why I joined. And I wouldn't take it back for anything. It's been the greatest decision I ever made.
So you're 20, so how old's your kid? 20?
No, my kid is, she was born, I was 21 when she was born, so she is 17.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. So he's 38. Fucking old, man.
I'm 39. Yeah.
Real quick,
But,
you know, I know you have a daughter, but my daughter just turned 24 today. Like, fuck, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
who's
fuck
old
it.
now?
Yeah, no shit, dude. So, like, fuck. But,
hey, you gotta let them go eventually.
fuck, I
They're
know.
still our babies,
I know.
but they have to live their own lives.
I know. I sent her a thing this morning, and I was like, happy birthday, baby. Love you. And, you know, of course, I don't know what she did last night. She probably partied it up or whatever.
If you didn't get a text, it's probably
yeah,
exciting.
she hasn't been doing that a lot. You know, I'm the one we're like a dying breed, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, we're kind of off topic. But, you know, that shows you know, everybody has their own little thing. But with that, what made you stay in? Because you did 15. So most people do 4 years, and you could have gotten something out of it and then taken off, you know, but why 15? Like, why did you stay in longer?
Right.
I mean, what made you just decide, like, fuck it, I want to keep doing this?
So I would say after my first deployment, I got deployed 2 years after I joined. So right around 09, I joined 07, 09 I was deployed. So literally it was like 2 years was the mark, and boom, which was, you know, normal for the heavies world. After that deployment, coming back home, you just realize how different it is overseas versus being in America. And you sort of are pissed about it. You know, you're like, people don't realize the shit that we do and the freedoms that they are obtained and allowed because of what we do. And that opened my eyes like drastically. I was like, you know, sort of had a little bit of that PTSD syndrome, you know? And I was like, you know what? I want to continue to make that difference though. So that's why I stayed in for as long as I did. And I loved it. The flight line was, as you know, is a crazy time. And it's nonstop work. And every mission I worked, we did real live missions. So like, it was always go, go, go. People's lives depend on it. You gotta get it right, or else someone's gonna either die or someone's not gonna make it home. And it's like, when you have that instilled in you, and you have that, you feel it and you enjoy it, and you get the sense of just enjoyment out of it, and the sense that, you know, you made a difference. There's nothing beyond it. Like, I think we chased that high. At least I did for the entire time I was in. And that's why I stayed in as long as I did. I got out eventually due to some medical reasonings and unforeseen incidences. But if I didn't have those situations, I would have stayed and done probably 30 if I could have.
Really?
So yeah.
Damn.
I will say with that though, there were days you're just like, I'm over this shit, you know, like fuck this leadership, fuck, you know, like the whole nine, you know, excuse my French, but that, you know, that's how it is, you know, we all get burnt out. But at the end of the day, you got to realize, I realized for me, it wasn't always about me though. It was about the guys, my troops, my airmen. It was about their families. It was about the legacy that they get to carry on as well. And it was about freedom.
Yeah.
You know? Simple as that. It's about freedom, man. Like, that's what we do it for. We're the 1%.
So did you deploy to Afghanistan?
Yes, I've been to Afghanistan.
So one of the whys while I was in was, when I was in Afghanistan, because I did Afghanistan too
Right.
back in '07 '07, and
Fucking old fuck.
I know, no shit, dude, fucking seven.
I was coming in 07.
And
Yeah.
I know, dude, I was already in year 9, and these motherfuckers, these army dudes would come over and see us in the chow halls or see us in the little fucking, the BXs or whatever you want to consider them.
Yeah.
And they knew that we were warthog fucking maintainers because you're never clean. You're never fucking clean.
Yeah. No.
And these guys would come out and say, "Hey, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for keeping those fucking things in the air because we would have been dead today, or we would have been dead, like months ago, or whatever." So that was one of the things. And then I had a buddy of mine, he cross-trained from sheet metal over to become a TAC-P. And I was also deployed. This is one of my whys as well, and I didn't bring this up before, but you brought up a good point about being deployed and stuff, where we went from being B1 maintainers to him being a TAC-P guy, and then I was deployed. He found out I was deployed. He actually called me because he had just coordinated some bombs to be dropped.
Nice.
And
Warheads on foreheads. Baby.
yeah, warheads on foreheads, and this motherfucker like called me, still a little scared.
Right.
A couple days after, because they were about to be completely annihilated.
Right.
So that's the beauty, and that's part of the why, because you chase that high. You chase what the fuck am I gonna do? Like, how is this gonna go?
Right.
And that is the beauty, because I mean, there's so many things, but it's that as maintainers, and he said it, you're constantly busy. You're constantly fucking working. Like, there's no fucking time off. Like, your 8 hours a day are busy as fuck. 10 hours a day. There were never 8 hours a day. I'm sorry.
No.
I don't care what people say.
Not even at home station.
Not even at home station. You're fucking. I mean, I remember getting to work at fucking 6:00 in the morning, leaving at 7, and then getting called back because of a lost tool. And I brought this up on my last one, and I was there till midnight.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, dude? But you can only be at work for fucking 12 hours max.
You have
16 hours with the fucking group commander's call. Approval.
Yeah.
But
it's all bullshit.
No, that never fucking works. No. And people, I have friends now that still deal with that type of shit. They're like, oh yeah, it doesn't fucking change. You're always going to be fucking at work, you know?
And at the time, we're bitching about it. We're pissed off about it. But in reality, when we look back on it, we did it because it was what needed to be done. You know, simple as fact. So
yeah, when you're eating your fucking sandwiches
you're fucking,
on the flight line.
We used to get, we're deployed to Turkey because we were the first ones in there for the Syria mission. And they hadn't had a movement in Turkey in ages. So they had to rearrange everything. And we were sitting out on the flight line and they're giving us box nasties for lunch.
Oh, fuck.
Because the chow hall couldn't account for how many people were there now, because there were still home station people that were stationed there.
Oh,
and there was a deployment movement going on. So I ate box nasties for fucking probably the first 2 months of that deployment.
Wait, was this what, 2016, 2017?
2015, 16, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm, that's when we kicked off, yeah. So, it sucked.
And then you got MREs that are just piled up everywhere, and you're eating that
MREs,
shit and stuffing your ass up because you can't fucking shit from that shit.
Exactly.
So, fuck.
Oh, yeah.
No,
I times. That's why my stomach's fucked up nowadays.
Well, we talked about that. I think mine's fucked up because we would be out there eating, and you get that last bite and you're still hungry. And that last bite is so nasty from your fingers and the grease and the fucking sealant and everything. And you still take that bite and you're like, oh, what the fuck did I just do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the worst.
So, yeah.
But and when I was in Afghanistan, I was in a little place, Mazar Sharif. And it was the mecca for all the top dog guys, like fucking badass motherfuckers, like Sear, fucking whoever, all those dudes. And we had all countries there. Like, I'm talking every country you could think of, their top guys and their mission pounders were there. And I was just there to fix a plane, you know what I'm saying? But it's crazy because you see all these dudes, here's little Air Force me, walking around. They didn't fucking prepare us for shit. So we're not And these dudes are every day. You see them with their cases and they got their big boy toys and shit, and we're just like, fuck, what the hell's going on? How did we end up here? But you don't realize though the mission is so critical. You know, at the time you're like, oh, this is crazy, because we were on the fly line and we could hear. They had their little gunner towers, and you could hear them shooting the 50 cal, and you'd see these Army dudes and these Marine dudes coming in, fucking backpacking in, just running their ass in to getting through the gate, you know, because they need to get in the compound. And it's crazy because you don't think about it, but you're like, fuck, that shit's insane, you know? Like, how crazy is that? And the freedoms that we're, you know, blessed with, you know, people don't even think twice about it, you know? But I think about it every day, because without the guys and gals that are still doing it, ground pounding, we wouldn't be afforded this. So, but that was the high we were chasing for sure.
Yeah, that was '06 in Iraq, because I was there with the PJs and stuff. So we're fucking repairing helicopters that were getting shot at. I mean, I got downstairs, I got a little fucking piece where the bullet came through and missed the drive shaft by 6 inches. Yeah, it hits that drive shaft and all those motherfuckers are dead. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And I had to fix it to get it back. You know, and it was like 48 hours for me to fix it and everything, but that was a essential asset for them. So like, that's fucking nuts. So just little things that you don't think that some Army or Marine dudes are like, oh, you're just fucking Air Force guys. You're fucking not doing anything. Yeah. I mean, we had this conversation, but it's like, all right, dude, I think our planes kind of have saved your ass a few times, but it's cool. Like, hey, you say what you want to say, but I know I still did what I needed to do.
It is what it is, but at the end of the day, we all had to make and work together in order to make the big picture happen. So simple as pie. But yeah, I couldn't think of it any other way but to say that I was chasing that high and that I did it because I knew that it was bigger than myself.
Yeah. So. And what I know you mentioned a few things, but what did you enjoy about that time? Like, you know,
my time in I enjoyed seeing the fruit of my labor. You know, like I said, fixing airplanes. You know, going on a red ball, fixing that jet, and getting it FMC again and up to where it needed to be. That's what I enjoyed the most. I enjoyed the fact that I was able to do that and get those aircraft where they needed to go. Because, like I said, once again, when I was stationed in Germany, everything was real mission. Everything came through Germany for heavies. So whether it was going to a relief, do a relief drop, or it was coming back with a bunch of Army or freaking Marine guys on it, coming home from a 24-month deployment or 12-month deployment or movement, or if it was going to go home from staging, and they finally get to go home.
Yeah.
Like that's what I loved and enjoyed about it. Being able to see those end results. So with my hands,
So Ramstein, right?
Ramstein, yeah.
So for those that don't know, Ramstein is a major fucking hub.
Major hub for en route side of the
en route. So there's I've had buddies that were, one of my best friends just got here from Ramstein. He's now in Mountain Home. But they were constantly busy, not because they had their own aircraft. I mean, at one point in time, they had a couple C-130s, but they were always gone.
So they do have the two units. They have the en route side, which is all AMC heavy movement, and then they do have the 130 side, which is stationed there. They do a lot of relief missions as well, but they don't have very many aircraft for the 130 side. So the en route side is the hub of Ramstein. So.
Yeah, I've passed through there, and it is a phenomenal base. But you do see, it's kind of like Qatar. Like everybody goes through there to get out of where they need to go.
Yep.
And that's the same way with Ramstein. Every military branch, I mean, you go to the BX, if there's people en route, you'll see every branch of Air Force, every branch of the military. Let me rephrase that. Every branch of the military, and then sometimes you'll see different countries there too.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, for sure. You see a variety of different countries. So.
And it's beautiful. That whole location is just fucking phenomenal.
Like I said, that was my hub. That was sort of to move off. The second part of that question is that was my favorite, like the location that I've been stationed at. Because I got to travel the world, and when I say travel the world, like I've been all over the place. So not only just on my own, but because of the Air Force, you know. So it was just a pinnacle point in my career that I can say I've had, and I wouldn't take it back for the world. Like that really made my career.
And he was talking to me the other day about his troops and the different things. And I think he really liked that as well, because I know I did. I liked seeing these little punk ass kids come out of school, and then now they're fucking. I got some of these punk ass kids that I used to know that I taught are running shops and fucking becoming seniors and chiefs, and I'm like, what the fuck is this, man?
Hey, time does not slow down for no man.
Nope.
But to say that point, I most definitely, that was another thing. I enjoyed being able to mold people and, really be a service to them. And people forget being a leader and being a manager are two different things. In the civilian sector, managers, I mean, I'm not a manager in the civilian sector, but you're a managerial role, but being a leader is a completely different testament to you as a person and to those people. And it's hard to lead. We've both seen bad leaders. Now, I like to think I was one of the better ones. Who knows? Maybe some of my troops probably fucking hate me. I don't know. But I like to think, though, at the same time, I led from the front, and that was something that was instilled in me very early. Lead from the front. Don't lead from the back, because if you're leading from the back, that means that you don't know what the fuck's going on in the front.
And you're a manager, and you don't know what the fuck you're doing, so nobody respects you, nobody wants to fucking be a part of your crew.
And that's what I enjoyed also in my time, was being able to lead, being able to have young troops, young airmen, and be able to help them in any personal issues they might have, but also in their career, being able to steer them and guide them. And sometimes you gotta do the hard work, and it's not all fucking fun and roses. Sometimes you gotta be in their ass, and that's what it takes. I was one of those young airmen. My fucking supervisors were in my ass because I was an ass wipe. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't the golden child, but I was a hard ass fucking worker. And my problem was I always wanted to know why, which is sort of funny.
Yeah, it's fucking theme here.
But I wanted to know, why am I doing this? Why am I changing that part? Why are we doing that? Because I get it. Yes, you're telling me to, but I want to know, okay, A, B, C equals, such and such. And that was how I learned and how I, became a great, troubleshooter as well, though, because I knew processes. I knew what led to what, and that was going to either fix it or it wasn't going to fix it.
Yeah.
So, and it's just part of the trade.
You said time waits for no man. I remember coming in. I came in '98, so I'm still pretty young. But
he says that though.
But having the supervisors, this is something that I really enjoyed. Having the supervisors, kind of teach you and everything else. Mm-hmm. And you're over here calling them the old farts, or you telling your shop chiefs that they're fucking ancient and shit.
Yeah, you old dinosaur.
Yeah, and then now I'm their fucking age, a little older than what they were, and I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking? Right. And it was always one of those things where you're working. They tell you, don't pick up something this way, don't do it that way. You're gonna fucking hurt yourself. Yeah. In the long run, you're gonna fucking feel it.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, fuck you, old man. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. And then now with fucking all the fucking ailments and aches and pains and waking up and, you sleep wrong and you can't fucking...
can't move your neck for a day.
Oh, God. Yeah, so for all you young fucks that are watching this, definitely fucking listen to the old fucks, because they know what the fuck they're talking about.
Pay mind to that shit. Trust me. On top of the fact, there was this funny story. It brings me to the time I remember young airman. I was being a young airman, dumb, and we're changing the field control. And, the old crusty tech sergeant, he's like, he said something about, well, you better move this way or get this way. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? I'm almost done. Leave me alone. So I do that last line, and sure enough, JP8 all over. Not fun. Burns like a motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, it does.
But that's the kind of shit, And as we got older in our time, we were doing the same thing. Hey, don't do that. Hey, pay attention. Hey, what about that? And it's just it's the form of the beast. It's how it is, But that's part of being the leader and being the the mentor and the whole nine. So
when I was about to retire, there were kids that were coming in that were born after my daughter.
Yeah,
and
2000
so
and after.
Yeah, so I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. I don't want to fucking deal with you. I don't you guys. And they were like my kids. They would call me fucking dad. Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, and there was a couple times where, one or two of the guys would come into the shop and show their parents around. I'm like, who? Right. Hey, you know, you want me to be your stepdad?
How you doing, Mom? What room are you
Oh
in?
man, those kids will get embarrassed. But yeah,
But yeah.
did you have any regrets in your time? You know, being in.
Regrets. I would say one of my main regrets, and this is starting from the very beginning. So when my recruiter gave me my job options, he said, okay, you can be an engine mechanic, you can be, I don't know, they call them pole jumpers or whatever, you know, electricians.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Stuff. He said you can be a load master, and then he said you can be a port dog. And I was sort of enticed about the Loadmaster thing, right?
Man.
And I was like, oh, what's this Loadmaster thing? You know, this was ancient. We didn't have Google as big as we do now and all that jazz. And he's like, oh, well, you know, the Loadmaster, you just sort of, they just load the airplanes with stuff. And
those are the port dogs.
that's about
Those are the fucking port
right,
dogs.
That's the port dogs. And, they just make sure the weights and everything's good on it. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, you like to work with your hands and be outside and stuff, right? And I was like, yeah. He's like, engine troop. I was like, okay. So I went, I found the only YouTube video on Facebook or on YouTube I could find, and sure enough, it was United States Air Force jet engine mechanic for aerospace propulsion apprentice. And I watched that video, and he was in the hush house with the augmenters and badass F-16, and I'm like, oh fuck yeah, that's what I want to do. That's it. So I was like, sign me up. And then I found out what a fucking Loadmaster does. They get to travel the world.
They fucking go everywhere and don't even have to fucking worry about shit.
Don't have to do shit because it's all computerized. That's my regret. I didn't fucking go Loadmaster.
I have friends that are Loadmasters that cross train. I had a lot of friends cross train out of sheet metal because
weird.
Yeah, no shit. And a couple of them cross training Loadmasters and they don't have a single complaint.
No.
Because they don't have to fucking worry about nothing.
No.
They plug in some numbers and they don't have to manually do it. They fucking and then they're air crew. Fucking little cocksuckers like fucking air crew. Like you guys didn't do shit.
No.
Like you get to sit on your ass the whole time and tell somebody how to unload.
Exactly. Be careful. Oh.
Yeah.
Don't hit that.
No, you can't put that pallet there because that pallet it's gonna mess up the center of gravity.
Yeah, the CG's wrong.
Like fuck you guys, man.
That's my regret that I didn't fucking look into it a little more, but...
I mean, I don't know what you would do on the outside, but I mean, it's easy. Like, it doesn't matter because your time in would have been fucking wonderful.
A blast, yeah. I mean, I had a blast either way. But yeah, that was... once I found out what they legitimately did, I was like... God,
those motherfuckers fly everywhere, and they go everywhere.
Yeah.
One of my buddies was like... He was a Loadmaster on C-17s, and they would go down to Antarctica. So he got his little fucking Antarctica fucking badge or whatever. And I'm like... Dude, what the fuck? He's literally hit every fucking continent and in like so many different countries, and I'm like, and they get to
really
they
have
stay.
bigger regrets right now.
Yeah, and they get to fucking stay. Like they gotta have their crew rest, so they get 24 hours mandatory.
And then they break.
Oh yeah, and then they break, and then guess who's out there fucking doing shit? Us. Yeah.
These dumbasses.
Bastards. But yeah, I get that regret. That's fucking.
That's the only regret I could say I have. Other than that, yeah, no complaints.
But would you change anything? Because I know there's regrets and then there's changing things. Because, I think for me, like I've said before, schooling. Like I would have done schooling a little differently, or I would have done. Sure. Maybe I wouldn't have made my bad decisions that I made, but it made me who I was. So I can't really complain.
It brought you here, and here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
I can say I would change something. There's two things I would change. Schooling for sure. I did no schooling while I was in, and I'm the epitome of what you don't want to do. So for all you young guys out there just joining or thinking about joining, get your fucking schooling and education. It's free.
Yeah.
You have all the time in the world to do it while you're in active duty or reserves or whatever. I would have went to school. I would have legitimately got my degree. They pushed that shit hard as all ever. EPRs, all that jazz. You gotta do schooling. So I would do the minimum. I'd do a class. I would to fulfill the block. That's legitimately what I would do. I was that fucking airman. Even as a young, as an NCO, that was just my downfall. I didn't have it in me to do the schooling. I couldn't put myself to focus on it, and it's my lack now, and I wish I had done it, and it's never too late. I know this guy preaches that, and I've actually been thinking about maybe doing class.
Oh shit, my influence is fucking rubbing off, you know?
I know. But that's what I wish I had actually done and taken seriously, is got my schooling, got my degrees. So that way I just had that piece of paper, you know, because that's like gold in the civilian sector nowadays.
And they can't take that shit away. They can take away everything else in your fucking world.
Right.
But they can't take away your education.
It's true. So I would say that. And then the second caveat to that is I wish I had known more about investing into my TSP. Because that was something, at least in my time, it wasn't very talked about.
Yeah.
I knew I had it, but I didn't know that the percentage, you could change it, you could put more, you know, I didn't know any of that. No one ever talked about it. Even the supervisors weren't pushing it. Not even the senior NCOs were pushing it. And I wish I had known. I didn't start legitimately investing probably later on in my time, probably like 7 years into my time, you know? And that's 7 years I missed that I should have been investing a full amount, and I would have had a huge chunk of change.
Yeah.
Even now, but
I didn't because
you're smart.
at this no, I didn't invest at all. Because I was thinking, well, I'm gonna have a retirement, you know?
Right, yep.
And then I also had fucking 4 kids, you know, so I was like, fuck that. I'm not gonna
you're
fucking
penny pinching over
Yeah,
there.
exactly. It was already fucking hard enough. And but no, I wish I could fucking go back and do that shit.
Because I would have maxed that shit out for the last 15 fucking years, and I had a big old chunk of change sitting in there and rolled over into my 401k with the civilian sector.
And fucking balling because shit's kind of going up.
Right.
Fucking shit, man.
So yeah, those are the 2 things I would change for sure, because those are 2 things that aren't as talked about, I feel like, at least when I was coming in. As I started doing it, I started making sure my guys knew, hey, A and B, you got to do these 2 things, because this is what's going to make you set for the future, you know? And I know the Air Force, I don't know, I'm assuming right before you got out too, I know they're doing a new like 401 or TSP thing where they're trying to set these young guys up who aren't going to do a full career. At least 4 or 6 years after they've gotten out, they have a lump sum of money they can pull
if they need to pull or do whatever they need to.
Because, I mean, otherwise, these guys, you're getting out with nothing, really, you know, unfortunately. I mean, you have education, but you got to take advantage of this shit.
So, talking about that education, I think the first 11 years of my career, I didn't really care about it. I mean, I got my associates, but it was doing the bare minimum.
Right.
But it was because of this. It was because of this and fucking going TDY and doing stupid shit.
Yeah, same.
You know, I mean, you think I wanted to fucking stay in my room and fucking hang out when I was in Thailand? Like, fuck that. Nope. Or you know, going to Yokota or Hawaii or no. And I know people, and my buddy Lewis had talked about that. You know, he knew somebody when he went to Korea, and all she did was focus on her shit.
Yeah, good on her. Man. Like that's fucking
I was fucking worried about this.
Yeah, I was
like
I was
this and
about
my
this.
boys. Like, what the fuck were we? Diego Garcia. Like, I didn't want to fucking. You're in one of the most gorgeous fucking islands in the world. And it was drinking, partying, having fun, and it was just all GIs. But I didn't want to fucking go try to sit. So at the time, we didn't have easily accessible internet or whatnot.
Yeah.
I couldn't sit there in my fucking room. I had to go sit in a morale tent and do my fucking shit. Yep. So. You don't know about that. You were fucking already.
I do know about that.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I've been in a couple of morale tents.
Fuck.
But that's like I realize why I didn't do it, but I wish I had someone that told me no, fucking do it. But I would 100% am the reason why. You know.
I fucking tell everybody the partying will be later on.
Yeah.
If you want to fucking do it, I wish I would have done it. Because at this point in my life, I should probably have about 2 to 3 fucking PhDs. You know what I mean? And now I'm like, fuck, you know what I mean?
You're a doctor of bullshit.
Fuck, yeah, exactly. But I would have had them, right? I would have had the doctor of bullshit.
Yeah.
So and oh, fuck. I mean, because I've had to spend a lot of my GI Bill on these last few years of, you know, working on a couple of my masters.
Right.
And even now, when I could have gotten my bachelor's and my fucking master's for free, and then come out and do a PhD, and then another PhD, and then still had fucking, you know, extra. But yeah, dumbass. It's all right. For you fucking young kids, listen to this shit.
I got a lot of stupid memories though, and fun times. So fuck it.
Now, memories. Any great memory or something that stands out, or even leaders? Like, do you have any leaders that you're just like, fuck, like that motherfucker made a difference in any and everything?
For sure, for sure. One of my fondest memories of a leader was when I was stationed in Germany. All my stories revolve around Germany. It was like a pivotal point, like I said. There was a senior master sergeant who was the superintendent when I got there. Senior master sergeant Williams. And he was just a great all-around dude. He was an electrician by trade, but he was filling the chief's position, obviously. And but he cared about the people, and that was what I realized. I was at a point in time in my career when I got to Germany. I was about almost 4 years in, give or take, and so I'm starting to see things. I'm starting to understand the process a little bit better. The ranking structure. How it works. I was a young senior airman, had a deployment under my belt, so I was realizing a lot of the leadership stuff. And when I got there, I realized that he was a leader that I acquired and wanted to obtain to be like, because he cared about the people. He got the job done. He was an enforcement, but he was also making sure that people were taken care of, Because you can do both. People forget you can do both, especially when it comes to the higher ranking individual, senior, chief, they sort of forget that you have to do both. And he said to me, he loved me for some reason. I think it's because I was a hard-ass worker and I knew my fucking job. So he loved me. He really took to me. And I remember him saying one day, he goes, "You know what I like about you, Camarina?" And I go, "No, what, sir?" He goes, "It's not what you do when no one's watching. It's what you do when people are watching that matter. Because you can do the right thing when people are watching. But when you do the right thing when no one's watching, that's called integrity." And he goes, "You got that. And I like that about you because you do the right thing even if it hurts, no matter what or who or if no one's watching." And I said, "Oh, I appreciate that, sir." And I didn't really click for me at the time. I was like, "Okay, cool," And then as I became a supervisor and a young, NCO, I realized what he meant by that, And it's something I focused on my entire career after that. I'm like, he's right. It's 100% about doing the right thing when no one's fucking watching. Because as we know in society, everyone wants to do the right thing when they're on camera. They want to do the right thing when someone's looking at them, And that goes for all facets of life, whether you're in the military or outside the military. Doing the right thing when no one's watching is what makes you an individual and gives you that satisfaction of a person and human being.
Yeah.
And that was astronomical to me. Like, I will never forget that man. I'll never forget what he told me. And I will never forget just the conversations we had, he would always say hi. He was always personable. And that was something that I needed during that time because he was mentoring me without me even noticing. I didn't even know he was doing that, but it really was pivotal for me because it helped me be a better leader in my time. So yeah, that was one of my fondest memories from someone. I had a couple bad fond memories, from senior NCOs and supervisors. I've gotten into it with a couple of supervisors. I was a young, like I said, senior airman in Ramstein. I had a staff sergeant who was a supervisor of me, and he was an asshole. He fucking hated me. And I realized he hated me because I was a mouthy fuck. Yes, I was a little mouthy. I was a little asshole, but I did it because, like I said, I always wanted to know why. Why are you telling me to do that? That doesn't make sense. Why are you telling me to go change that part? And it's because I knew my shit so well that you couldn't tell me nothing. And he was intimidated by the fact that I was better than him at the job, and I would call him on his shit. And no one likes that, especially being called out as an NCO from an airman, because that gets back to higher rankers, higher ranking. And he cussed me out one day. During the shift, he cussed me out in the break room, or in the our little back room, and I'll never forget that. And I was like, I will never be like that. I will never, ever do that to one of my airmen. And that's something that stood out as well for me. That was also pivotal because I was like, you know what they say, when you become a leader, to take the good and the bad from the supervisors you had and to evolve them into as best as you can be for your airmen as a leader and supervisor. And that was part of it. So for sure, there's some good and some bad and in between. But those are two of the main fond memories I have during my time in. So,
I learned talking about leaders and supervisors and stuff, I learned, it's crazy because I learned a lot from the good leaders, but I learned even a great deal more from the bad leaders.
Right. Yeah.
As to what I didn't want to do.
Yeah, for sure.
That's actually been several of my papers and throughout my degrees is, how toxic leadership can easily make you realize that that's not what you want in life, and and that's why people leave jobs is because not because of the job or not because of the company, but because of the leadership behind it.
And that's why people have been getting out of the Air Force as much as they has, because of the leadership, and it's been very well known for the last, I'd say 10 years easily, that people are jumping ship left and right because
12 because we had to kick all those people out, which was unfortunate.
That's true.
And
I was in the era of that too. So it was it's because people don't want to deal with it, and they realize, well, why am I going to do this if I'm just going to end up getting yelled at or whatever.
Good people. That, you know what, that'll be probably my next podcast by myself, is talking about that. Force reduction, we had to lose 30, 40, 50,000 fucking Air Force guys. And good people with minor infractions.
I saw a guy get kicked out because of a PT test.
I had to
PT test. Ass NC.
I was part of the ranking individuals of that, making their decisions. And I had some great people who failed PT tests or who had a little LOC for something stupid. Get kicked out. But then you had shitbags that state. We'll have this discussion another time.
You're welcome.
Oh shit.
But
and as we're kind of winding this down, I really appreciate it. But I know we talked about schooling and giving that advice, but is there anything else that you would want to, give to people that are still in, people that are going to join, or people that just are about to get out? Because there's transitioning to going in, there's staying in and giving that advice, and then there's people coming out who are lost in their identity or who will be lost, because you will have that fucking... I feel like I don't belong. I feel hopeless, and I feel.
And we've talked about this in our passings in the halls. But good point bringing that up. I would say I felt that exact way getting out. 15 years of my life, this is what I knew. This is what I've done. This is what I've been. I've been told what to wear. I've been told where to go. I've been told when to do it.
And cut your fucking goddamn hair.
I've been told to cut my hair.
This guy.
That's why it's long. I've been told to keep a clean shave. All this jazz, right? I've been told and structured for the last 15 years of my life from pivotal points in your life as a young man. So when I was at that time of getting out, I sort of was having an identity crisis. Simple as that. What was I going to do? How was I going to do it?
Yes.
Where was I going to do it? All these things are crossing my mind. And once I found that you can live life outside of the military, once I realized that, all those worries went away. I get to have an identity now, and that's what I tell every GI that's coming out. Because I got a buddy who's retiring here soon, and he posted on his Facebook about it, and he said he said something to the verge of sad about this next chapter, not worried about the next chapter, and I'm thinking, bro, don't be worried. You did 20 years, you're retiring. Be fucking excited, because you get to actually bring your own identity to the table now. This is my identity. Long hair, fucking don't care, beard. You know what I'm saying? This is who I get to be. I enjoy that fact, because I've never got to do that. Yeah, I get to do it when I was, a young man up until, 19. But then, I've been structured thus far. Now, don't get me wrong. I have a lot of structure still in my life that I am glad I got from the military. But the enjoyment of being able to sort of let loose, I get to enjoy growing out my hair. I get to enjoy being who I want to be, and I get, you get to fall in love with life again.
Yeah.
Because that's something that we sometimes forget to do, especially during deployments and continual movements. You got kids, you're trying to grow a family, and you're trying to raise a family, and you're gone a lot. That was me. I was always gone. And I will say I missed out a lot on my kids' life. But it wasn't undue to me not wanting to be there. It was due to the fact that I was serving a greater purpose and setting up the future for them and me. So most definitely, don't be scared to be an individual, it's sort of scary, yes, to get out, but take that time to really pound that resume down. And there's a lot of headhunter companies out here nowadays. It has transitioned ginormously for military GIs coming out, because, you know, back in the day, it was, you got out and you sort of were lost. You know, you didn't know how to get a job. You didn't know where to even start. But they've started to realize and hone in that the military has a lot to offer, because not only are we structured, I mean, we have a good mindset, we have leadership of capabilities, and we're able to be involved with those conversations from a different perspective looking in. So they want those, you know, those fresh ideas. And make sure you guys get that resume pound out. And don't forget, there's always opportunities in the civilian sector for USA job stuff, you know, governmental jobs. You know, that was a huge factor for me getting into the government side. I didn't obtain that initially. It's still on my list, but the job I'm at, the company we work for, is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah,
I love the job. I love the company. So it's not in that government realm, but, you know, maybe down the road I might get into that government realm. I know you did a little bit of the government, civilian sector stuff. Right. So,
but it's perspective. It's perspective. Right. It's what I did versus maybe what he would want to do.
Right. And it's a safe haven for a lot of guys, because, you know, we're used to, we want that camaraderie, because we're all GIs. You know, we all have that bond equally initially. But, you know, we can get along with anyone. You know, we've always gone along with everyone, because that's what the military forces you to do. You know, I'm from a whole different background than this guy, and vice versa. You know, or Joe Smo that I've worked with. But we're forced to get along with each other. Yep. And so the same goes for the civilian sector. Don't think you can't do it. You can fucking do it. You just can't fucking say fuck all the fucking time.
That's a fucking lie.
That's a fucking lie.
I never thought about what you said until you were saying it, and I was thinking about it. I actually got fucking goosebumps. But kind of learning to love life again. Yeah. That was
just pivotal, man.
Yeah, because I went through, you know, an identity crisis, and you know, you just feel lost. Yep. And
there.
I didn't know what the fuck to do. I didn't know where to go from there. Right. Yep. And now I'm fucking loving life. I'm you know, I'm one of the guys that works like, where the fuck is Pedro? Because I'm always fucking gone. I'm either working from home, I'm fucking traveling, working, I'm fucking, you know, traveling, period. Yeah. And they're like, where the fuck is Pedro? He's not even here.
Guy's getting paid to do nothing. What the fuck?
Whoa, hold on. But I'm loving life. It's a whole different fucking aspect for me, because I'm not sitting there just like, oh, you know, I got to do this structure and that. Right. I get to fucking, you know, maybe I don't get the 1 month that I get in the military. I mean, I do, but it's different, because now I can take an hour here, 2 hours there, leave a little bit early from fucking work, but I'm loving life because I get to do what I want to do on my terms, on my dime, versus, fuck, I get to see this country, but on your terms, and I won't get a chance to do what I want.
Exactly.
You know, so I fucking very much appreciate that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the other thing that he brought up was the transition point with jobs, you know, setting yourself up, getting your resume. Yeah. A lot of people don't pay attention to TAPS very well, because it's one of those things where they're like, oh, I just got to fucking do it to get out of there. Yeah. No, pay attention to that shit. Do that shit. And there's resources out there. And in my next episode, when I talk about, you know, what did I say I was going to talk about? Like toxic leadership and you know, what did I say I was going to talk about? Fuck, I got to rewatch this now. Fuck.
You're going to have to rewatch this.
But I will bring that up, because that is a very good point. And I do have resources. I've recently just helped somebody, you know, get a job. You know, there's a couple of military hire type of recruiting agencies that will just tailor to military and your stuff and get you out there. Exactly. So I will have that, and I will have resources. Maybe I'll put them in the comments or whatnot. But, you know, if you need help, let me know. I mean, I can definitely, I'm fucking very resourceful, so I can find those avenues for you. And vocational rehab is not just for education. They actually help you find a job. So if you're ever stuck, you can't find it, vocational rehab, you go to vocational rehab, or just type it into Google. Right. And there's a local chapter within your area, and then you can fucking hit them up and be like, hey, I need some help or whatnot. So
hell yeah. Yeah, so there's all kinds of stuff out there. I mean, Don't be scared, guys. I mean, whether you do 4, you do 6. I mean, hell, if you only did 1, fuck you. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. But, you know, even if you did anything after and retirement, like, there's all kinds of stuff out there. Don't be scared. It's a time to shine. It really is, you know? And fucking love life and enjoy it, man. That's what I do. Stay positive. Stay positive, guys. That's my biggest thing is I had to teach myself to stay positive, and I'm a positive person. And everything happens for a reason, guys. You know, don't think just because something bad might be happening on your side of the scale for the military shit, you know, you'll come through it. I promise you.
That is very true.
Always something on the other side.
Yep.
So
I always say, if you need help, you can always reach out to me, or definitely if it's a little bit more intense than that, that suicide
prevention.
hotline.
Yep. There's always help. So
Trust me. Reach out to a friend. Reach out to anybody.
Anybody. Any GI will listen to you. I promise.
You know, that's one thing that I wouldn't be able to live with. I've had those experiences before, and it sucks. It really sucks, and
Exactly.
everything could be prevented. So I hope that, you know, this kind of helps you out, gives you a little laugh. If you want to be on the show, fucking, we can do it virtual too. If you can't fucking make it out, or I can't make it out,
Hit 'em up.
It's one of those things where, to me, this is more therapeutic than it is, you know, anything else. I mean, this is therapy as well, right? But, you know, this is what we have to do for each other. This is what, you know, take care of each other, not bash each other. I mean, we don't need that in our lives. Like, there's no fucking point.
No.
Like,
Society does that enough. We don't need that.
Yeah, we've all done our part, whether it be good, bad, indifferent, but we did a part, you know.
Exactly.
We fucking served what we needed to fucking serve and did what we needed to do, and now we're here, and now this is where we're continuing, so that way somebody else can do it and take over and keep on going.
Exactly.
It's not about, oh, I'm a mechanic and I did this, or I'm a fucking, you know, Billy Badass and did this. It's, hey, we fucking all did a job to the best of our abilities to do what we needed to do.
Like I could come on here and, you know, talk about how great I was and I did that, and I did this and I did and blah blah blah. No one cares. No one gives a
There's no
fuck.
fucking point. Like,
The point is that it happened, people's lives were saved, or the bad guys were killed, and we all got to sleep peaceful at the end of the night. Simple as that.
I wouldn't say peaceful, but
Yeah.
well, there was some positivity there. I got it. I see where you're going.
But yeah. So,
But hey man, it was fucking pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Cheers. Last cheers.
Boom.
Love you guys. Like I said, there's that suicide prevention. You ever need a person to talk to, give me a call. I can definitely fucking send you my number. I always get notifications. And I will see you next episode. Next episode is going to be just me talking about some of the other stuff and giving some resources out. So have a good one and be safe.
Be safe.
Love you guys.